Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a DIY Dollar Tree Rustic Country Farmhouse candy canes. We're going to use these candy cane ornaments from the Dollar Tree. Any kind of ribbon or fabric, these are from the Dollar Tree and these are from Walmart. You're also going to use some jute cord if you want. You need your hot glue gun and one of these cutting devices. I'm showing you 6 different ones to show you 6 different choices. I'm not making a set. They're not supposed to match or anything, okay? 3 of these are going to be using just Dollar Tree products. And then 3 of them are going to be using the Dollar Tree candy canes, but then Walmart fabrics and stuff, okay? So for this one, I'm just going to wrap it in jute. I don't want it to be neat. A lot of times I make my jute so neat and I line it up and I push it gently and all that stuff to make it pretty. I'm not trying to do that with this one. My inspiration for these was straight off of a catalog called Terry's Village, which is no longer in existence. Terry's Village was affiliated with Oriental Trading, and it was sort of this really great primitive country crafts and catalogs and decor. I mean, catalog that had crafts and decor and all this stuff that I loved. And I have seen these on Pinterest, like people trying to dupe these on Pinterest, but for years I've been like, oh, I'm making these, and I made them before, but I wanted to show you guys these ones. So this one is completely just wrapped in jute. I have taken a little extra effort to cover the end. Okay, and what I'm doing here is I'm taking a tiny loop extra. Right where I got to just about 1 inch left, I took a loop of the jute, and you want to put the looped end towards the end that you're wrapping towards, and you want to wrap about 6 or 7 rows over the loop. Make sure you keep the loop straight, okay? It's important that the loop doesn't get twisted up. Now you want to pull the loop back, and you want to continue wrapping under the loop, okay, while you're holding the loop back. And this was a trick my dad taught me, and I'm sure it's got a name, but my dad used to do fishing lures and not fly fishing because he never did freshwater. He was a saltwater fisherman, and he created his own fishing rods. And this is the way he wrapped the thread so that the ends were not exposed. And that's what I thought would look cute for you guys here. So right now I'm just taking the extra minute to cover the ends, just like we did with the first end. Just do a little bit at a time. You're going to go across the space and then wrap around the edge. And then you're just going to cover all those edges. And just when you're getting ready to be finished, instead of gluing it down, we're going to take it and we're going to put the end inside the loop, like right there. There you go. Okay, you put the end inside the loop, pull the loop back up towards the end, and now we're going to pull on the strings that were on the bottom of the loop left over. And what this is going to do is it's going to take the end of the jute that we were working with. See, I had to wiggle it a little bit. And it's going to tuck it under 6 or 7 rows that were way back there. This isn't a necessary step. This is just a technique I wanted to show you guys on how you can go ahead and bury the end so you don't have to worry about it fraying, even if glue comes undone or if kids are playing with it. You know, it really gives a sturdy end. And I wanted to just show you this red jute was available this Christmas time. It was red and green that were available. And I was thinking I might take it and go around to make like a candy cane looking, red with red jute would be cute. And then I was like, oh, maybe do it with a ribbon. So I want to show you here. This is the grosgrain ribbon from the Dollar Tree. Just wanted to show you some ways that you can dazzle it up if you want to add color to this rustic primitive candy cane. But I'm not going to do that. The color I'm going to add is going to come from this Dollar Tree ribbon. This is a Dollar Tree plaid ribbon, and I believe it was from last year, but I have seen it this year, which, a lot of times with Dollar Tree, if they have stock left over from last year, they'll use it. So it could have been just I saw it in a store from last year, but they do have lots of cute ribbons. And I didn't want the whole width, so I just cut it down. And that's an option for you guys. If the 2-inch ribbon at Dollar Tree is too wide, you can always cut it down, okay? So I had the worst time trying to tie this thing into a bow. It's really funny. So I decided to make a bow. So I just took a little extra piece and I made one of my loops. And then I was trying to tie I had the worst time, I'm telling you. So what I ended up just doing is making my regular old bow. I untied it from the candy cane. I made the little loop. I glued the ends of the loop together. Because this material is so little, it's better to glue the ends together than to try to have it just hold together when you pinch it. And then I tied the tails around like a regular old bow, and I tied it onto the candy cane. All right, and I just, because this isn't a wire edged ribbon and I wanted to make it look permanently cute, I just glued the tails to the back of the loops and the direction that I wanted, and then I dovetailed the ends. So the next one is, I was thinking like, oh, I can fold this over. And you could, guys, you really could just make a sleeve for this. In fact, the last one is very similar to that. But I just wanted to show you different ways you can do it. So I'm taking the rest of the piece of the ribbon that I cut off. So this was a 2-inch ribbon, and I cut about a half an inch off for the bow for the first one. And now I'm taking the other 3/4 inch and a half, and I'm using it to wrap around the candy cane. And you do this on an angle. Whenever you're wrapping a solid piece of material on there, you want to start at an angle off the edge of the candy cane, and you want to wrap. And it's good that this one happens to have like a twist to it, so you kind of get that sensation of this is what you're supposed to do. And then I'm tucking the ends under with just a little dot of hot glue. And once I have the ends tucked under, I am dealing with the bend in the candy cane. If the bend in the candy cane doesn't come smoothly, I didn't actually pull this tightly the first time, which was my fault. I just snipped it up and glued it down, and you can't even notice it. And then what I wanted to do is to coordinate with the first one. I decided to go ahead and make just a jute bow. I'm making a 2-string jute bow, Kelly Barlow inspired bow. And I'm just tying it around there so that they coordinate with each other, but they're not matchy. So it's just an idea that you can actually make a set of 3 and 3 if you wanted to. It would look cute. So for the next two, well, for this one, I'm going to use this buffalo check. These are just scraps that I had left over from when I did my Christmas stocking and deer antler DIYs, and I will link them in the description box down below if you'd like, or in the iCards up above. And, you know, buffalo check's really popular this year. So before you glue, make sure you have it twisting in the right direction. You can see I'm having a little trouble here. But you want to do the same thing that we did with the ribbon. You just want to glue down on the corner. Make sure you go on a diagonal. And the fleece is very forgiving and giving. I was going to say, when you pull it, it does hug around the candy cane because it does like have a nice give to it. So as you pull it tight, I wanted to make sure I glued on the arch of the candy cane on the underside as I pulled the fabric tight so it would stay taut. Okay? And I'm doing the same thing where I'm just tucking the ends under, hitting them a little dot of hot glue, and glued the ends under. And if you know what, if your fabrics are going to be red or white, it doesn't make a difference if you expose those ends. That's totally just a matter of personal interest. Personal interest? That's not right. Personal taste. So now I'm taking just a piece of this wire-edged ribbon from the Dollar Tree. This is that wire-edged burlap. And I'm making a double loop bow, and I'm making a teeny double loop bow. If you guys have not watched the video on how to make quick and easy way to make a bow tutorial, I'll link my bow tutorial down below and in the iCards above. It's super simple ways to make bows with 1 or 2 loops with wire or unwire edged ribbon. And they really are super simple. And they look like bows. You know, there's a really simple way to take the 2 loops and use wire. But this one, it looks like you tied it in a knot, which is great. And then just using my fat fingers don't go in to make those loops. So I'm just opening the loops up with my scissor, trimming off any loose strings. And then I'm just gonna dovetail the ends, but I decided to not just to go on a regular angle, but then I realized I should make the longest angle the piece with the wire, so it will help from fraying. And then I just glued this one on. I didn't tie it on. All right, and then the next one is, this is a really old, old, I'm not kidding. It's from Walmart. It's a bunch of plaid, flannel, and cotton pieces of fabric. It's They call it a quilt pack, which is basically a bunch of fat quarters. And I've used it for other rustic, or used similar fabrics for other rustic DIYs before, but this is the first time that I'm using this one. I just opened it for the first time forever. And I ripped a strip about 2 inches long, but you don't have to make it even that long if you don't want to. The fatter your strip is, the faster it is to wrap, but you also have more difficulty going around the arch of the candy cane. So depending on your skill level, if you're doing this with your kids, you might want to tend to leave the kids with like the thinner ones. And then again, glue in the arch and glue over the ends. And the design I decided for this one is, this is a new, well, not new, it's new to me, a ribbon from the Dollar Tree this year. And it's a burlap ribbon that's printed with Merry Christmas on it and joy, joy, and ho, ho, ho. So I decided to take the section that said Merry Christmas, and I'm going to create a faux gift tag that just says Merry Christmas. So I've cut an angle off of one end, and then I've taken that piece that I cut off and I used it to match the angle on the other end. And I'm poking a hole in there, and I'm adding my piece of jute. Of course, my famous pencil, my yellow mechanical pencil that I poke holes with. And then I was trying to glue the jute down to the tag, but then I realized that's a mistake. So when it dried, I just left it. I didn't, hold the glue. So then I tied a little bow on there, and I tied the tag on, and I just thought that looks so cute. It looks like a gift with the plaid wrapping paper, and it just, the colors coordinate really cute. And here is that red and white gingham again that we used in the mini mason jar ornaments that I just did. And I've just taken a strip once again, ripped it apart, and I decided then that I wanted to rip it in half because I wanted to do a really thin piece for you guys to see. Again, if you're going to do with the kids, for the kids, all you need to do is maybe you apply the hot glue, or you actually could do this with Elmer's glue, or Aleene's tacky would be better, just to teach them maybe some patience. But it is going to take a little bit longer for the glue to dry on the end before you can start twisting. So here I am just twisting. The frayed ends on this is what gives it that primitive feel. The different fabrics also help too, but the frayed ends for sure add to that primitive feel. And I am adding glue around the crook of the candy cane, and then again wrapping the ends. And this is a red and white fabric. I really didn't have to wrap the ends. I just wanted to show you that how you could, and I'm using the glue gun down there to help. And that's it. And it does look primitive. I mean, the thing about it is that the more like homemade it looks, the better. And I'm just testing out some, holding some ribbons to it and deciding what I want to do. And what I ended up doing was taking a piece of that red jute from the Dollar Tree from this year and adding 2 of the mini jingle bells to it. The jingle bells that we used in the Jingle Bell garland, which is in the description box down below. And I've just tied a bow on there with 2 jingle bells. I just thought that was precious and cute and very, very homemade feeling to me. And then the last one, which is my personal favorite because of my French country home, is I'm taking a piece of black and white buffalo check. Buffalo check just means fat gingham. It really does. That's all it means. And I am cutting a strip that's approximately 2 inches, 1.5 inches to 2 inches wide. You want to make sure it's enough to wrap around the candy cane and leave a little ruffle on the end. And you'll see what I mean in a second. And I'm showing you can just cut. I mean, what's nice about a check is you have a straight line to cut against. But then what I did was I got my pinking shears out, and I thought nothing is more rustic and homemade, nothing is more countrified than a little pinked sheared edge. So you see there how cute it is. So what I'm doing is I'm just showing you, like, I've done a little estimate of how wide I need to go around the candy cane. And then I'm just going to go along the length of the candy cane, of the length of the fabric at that same spot. And I'm folding the fabric in half. I'm not wrapping the candy cane just yet. I'm just making sure I leave a pocket. And this isn't an exact science. Guys, I did mess up a little bit here and there, but hey, I'm just a human being. But it's all could be rectified. I left some holidays and I closed this end here. I don't even know how I did it. It was before I even had gotten started doing the rest. I must have dripped some glue there and I didn't even realize it. So it's okay once I poked it through. So I poked it through and I'm pushing the fabric along. And every time I see a space where I missed glue, I just go ahead and throw some glue in there. And now I'm making sure I glue it to the end. So I want to bring it all the way through to the rook, the top of the curve. And I want to glue it to the end. And I'm not covering the end. I'm just making the space hang lower than the end of the candy cane. So it's just covering, like, you'd have to look up inside the hole to see that. And I'm making sure I keep the ruffle along the outside edge of the candy cane. I wanted the ruffle to be along the back, almost like a horse's mane, straight up. And I ruffled it along. So that's why I'm going to make sure that your piece of fabric is at least twice as long as the candy cane length. And I'm just pushing it along. There's no exact measurements. And I'm just, like I said, gluing along wherever I saw a space. And then I'm gluing down that end the same way we did the rook. And then I'm adjusting my ruffle. I'm making sure that it's even left to right. And I'm so sorry that I kept hugging it towards my body. I do that sometimes, guys. I'm sorry. I do forget that I'm taping this for you at times. I get so into the craft. And that's it. I just think it looks so stinking cute. I've taken the pinking shear and, I'm just adjusting it. I'm going to take the pinking shear and I'm going to trim up the edge. And then if any of the unpinked edge came over the pinking, then I wanted to make sure I fixed that for you. So it kind of looks like a really nice gray and white striped fabric from this side. The other side does look like a little bit more of a black and white. So what I did was I decided to take a piece of the scrap that was cut off, just a real thin, and I made sure it had black and white on it. Like, so it was the section where the plaid meets. And I pinked both edges of it, both sides of it. And I'm just decided to tie it into a tiny little bow. It was a bow that gave me a lot of trouble. You think I haven't been tying my shoes since I was 6 years old, but I have. I really have, I promise. So when I went to go ahead and I'm going to dovetail the ends, and I'm just going to glue it. And I thought that was just so cute. And I love this one. I'm putting this one in my kitchen, and I may just leave it there forever. But this is all of them. And I really hope you guys like this tutorial. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And share it with friends and family. Anybody you know who'd be interested in making one or any or all of these. And don't forget to do them with your kids. And when you do, share it with me on Facebook or Instagram. Or you can email me at mrsgarthby2@gmail.com. And like I say, as always, you guys, take care. God bless. We'll see you next time. Heads up. Chins high. Merry Christmas.